Shout out to NFL.com. I mean, it's one of the things when we have the offseason like we've had, you continue to be talked about. And at the same time, NFL.com provides content during this time of year, man, where they have their opinions on our players, our team. And recently, there was an article written. Let me make sure I drop my man's name. Where is your name?
Kevin Patra.
That dude. Yeah, shout out to Kevin Patra. Shout out to NFL.com also. But basically, post-draft, post-free agency, where we currently stand right now, he just went through on all 32 teams and basically talked about certain things that he thought were their top priorities still remaining, right? And gave some commentary on it, some read-ups, and some write-up, gave some information on it. But he specifically said for us that our top priority still remains to be adding a wide receiver. Talked about how since the trade with Deontay Johnson, obviously for Dante Jackson, the only thing that we've done to really address that room was a third-round pick in terms of Roman Wilson. Van Jefferson wasn't, in terms of the role that he had in Atlanta and in LA, they don't feel like it was so robust that he's going to be able to come in here and, match that type of production. Then talked about just how Calvin Austin, the third, and Quez Watkins are more gadget guys than your true traditional every down players. So that's why, for him, he looked at it and said, our biggest remaining offseason need or offseason priority is to add a wide receiver to that room. So how you feeling about it? Do you agree with my man? And typically we don't know how we know wrong. National guys. Yeah, sometimes they hot, sometimes they all the way off. But what's your temperature on this one?
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. It's between wide receiver, cornerback. If I had to pick between the two,
because they are both needs.
Man, I think the interesting part about the receiver portion of this is that we kind of got two guys, I think, in my opinion. I know Roman Wilson's going to be a rookie, but I think Pickens and Roman Wilson, they'll be like the top two receivers. Okay. And then we got a Muth. And then we got running backs in Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren, and even like a Cordell Patterson. So, like, how many names did I just list off right there? That's like five or six. Yeah. Five or six names. So if you mean to tell me our potential, like, seventh option is a combination of Van Jefferson or Quez Watkins, Calvin Austin, Denzel, any one of these dudes, like, we're not in, like, that bad of a place as an offense. Then you compare that to defense, we also got our top two, JPJ and Dante Jackson. I'm talking about the cornerback position. Yeah. After that, I feel like we have more uncertainty because on offense, I think you can mask that wide receiver too in a way with all those other pieces I was just talking about.
Whereas, even like you said, the tight end.
Whereas on defense, like slot corner CB3 has become like such a staple in the league right now.
Yeah.
I almost want to say cornerback, but I think that can be addressed in-house with a Darius Rush or a Corey Trice. Whereas the wide receiver 2, I would feel a lot better getting a dude from the outside. So it depends on what this article's trying to say here, like in terms of off-season priority. Like, do we have to address this priority in-house or by getting someone from the outside? Maybe I'd lean corner, actually, as weird as that sounds. I mean, as I'm thinking through this.
Breaking it down, because you're speaking specifically to if the nature of the article was in-house. Because if it's just based on our in-house resources, then you can make a case that the slot corner spot is a little bit of a larger hole,
right?
Than our wide receiver too.
and have more impact on
our
defense,
season, on the defense, Whereas like you said, schematically, there's certain things that Arthur Smith is going to do where maybe we can kind of get away with multiple bodies moonlighting in that wide receiver 2 role, as long as
I think it'd be easier
wide receiver,
to do.
As long as GP, tight ends, running game are up to par.
Yeah, so I'll go. You know what? Yeah, I'll say CB3 or slot corner.
Low key, that's what I was on. Like when I was reading, I'm like, bro, I think we cool on receiver. If I had to pick between right now, it's like slot corner is definitely the bigger concern though, because I don't know what body type is available or even skill is all the way available. And the peak name that had came up was Benny Bishop, and it's just like, man, that's an undrafted free agent. So that's the part where I'm just hesitant with that. Then we go the route of, okay, KZ, but that's a safety that I got to put down there and play out of position. Deshaun Elliott, that's another safety, different body type, but now I got to play him out of position. Whereas wide receiver 2, like you said, Roman Wilson, man, who knows? What does that look like in terms of, we know you can play the slot type of stuff, but maybe instead of you playing the traditional wide receiver 2, maybe we move you. Maybe you're the move guy. Maybe we use certain formations when it's just you and GP out there, but it protects you because you are more of a slot versus a true outside.
Yeah.
But if we got a solid run game with the tight ends doing what they're supposed to do,
and then we just send Van Jefferson and Quez Watkins on a vert all the time,
it's like we can definitely band-aid that and still be in control and more of the aggressor. Whereas our slot situation is we're going to be more on our heels, kind of reacting to this versus being able to dictate.
Yeah, at first glance, I was just like, you know what? I think they're right. It's receiver, because we've been talking about getting a receiver ad nauseum over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But I think it's corner.
Shout out to
I do think corner is the bigger priority.
So I was gonna say shout out to my man Kevin Patra, but I guess Patra was wrong. Deke ain't like what you were saying, Kevin. All right, Deke ain't like that.
I think it's a good write up. I think he did a good job.
No, I would agree, man. I feel like he's at least in the right area. He's at the right ballpark. Like the 2T, the two.
No, I think he could make a legit case for receiver over corner. You definitely can.
Yeah.
But I just think there's more uncertainty with that CB3 spot right now versus wide receiver 2. But I actually, so let me put it to you this way. I like the guys we have in-house to fill potentially that CB3 spot better than the guys that we have to fill that wide receiver 2 spot in terms of a potential and hitting a ceiling, because I think there is more of a ceiling with Corey Trice and Darius Rush, maybe even a Ryan Watts too, versus Van Jefferson, Quez Watkins, and Mims. I feel like we hit a spot with them of what they're capable of. Whereas Corey Trice, him and JPJ, that could be a dynamic cornerback duo. Darius Rush, Ramsey, maybe he could be playing the slot for us and excel at that. So I actually kind of like the unknowns for the corners that we got, but I also do accept that they are unknowns, and who knows what could happen in training camp.
Yeah.